computer. Stephanie Freeman. All right, you're gonna bring on your one of your favorite people. She said, I'm gonna have it together today. I'm not gonna have, she was gonna have a fangirl moment like she did yesterday. You know, Tribe had to come in and swoop in and do their thing. But Cerece Rennie Murphy, this is my girl. Oh my God. I gave all the good people to everybody else, but I'm just saying, yeah, because it was about Tribe. I wanted Tribe to have their time to shine, because I could have did this whole thing, but it wasn't about me. My tribe, that's my family, y'all. That is my family up and down. So I'm going to bring Stephanie on, and she is going to bring on Cerece. Let me make sure yep, everybody's ready to roll. All right. Can you hear me? There you go.
Good morning, everyone. I'm
Good
Stephanie Freeman. Welcome to my segment of the Cavalcade. I'm the author of Necessary Evil, which is book one in a series, the Diamonds, Blood, and Shadow series. And I'm happy to introduce everyone to Cerece Rennie Murphy, who is a phenomenal author. She's a national best-selling, award-winning author. In 2012, she published the first book in what would become the Order of the Seers Sci-Fi trilogy. Phenomenal work, phenomenal. And in 2016, she published her first time-bending romance called To Find You. And if you haven't read it, make that the top of your to-be read list this week, this month, this year. It was awesome. So, Cerece, thank you so much for being here.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
And I have to absolutely thank you again for taking the time to speak with me. I want a chance to talk with you just recently, and it was mind altering in an excellent way. I learned so much, and you know, your advice to me still resonates today. It echoes in my writing, and I can't thank you enough for that.
Oh, thank you. Your writing is incredible. I'm so honored. When I saw that we were going to be talking again, I was like, hey, Stephanie.
Yes. Hello, hello.
I'm just excited. Welcome. Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad I caught the tail end of that conversation. I was like, we're just going to continue the transformation.
Most definitely. So tell us about your journey to publication.
Oh, man. You know, it started, I think, the way a lot of folks do, with wanting permission from other folks. So after I finished my first book, when I started writing it, I had no plans to publish it. I just wanted to see if I could write this story that was in my head. And then after I finished, I got some good feedback, and I thought, oh, what do you do next? You apply to, traditional publishers. And I planned to send out 100 queries, because I had heard J.K. Rowling got rejected 100 times before Harry Potter. So I was like, well, at least, that's going to be my marker. But I sent out about 20 and started to get some, generic rejections. But I also got a lot of, well, you're a Black female writing sci-fi, so there's no audience for your books, because Black people don't read sci-fi, white people don't read Black authors, and no one reads science fiction from a woman. So literally, I don't know what you're gonna do. Yeah, I know. Wow, right? Well, I was like, well, okay, first of all, I know Black people read science fiction, because hello, I read science fiction, and I'm not that unique in the world. So I got a couple of those, like, oh, we really like it, but it's just not commercial. We don't think it'll be a commercial success, which is that code. And so finally, I'd started a couple businesses before, and I thought, why am I asking for permission to tell my story? This was 2012. So it was just when, people were starting to really publish their own stuff. Platforms were coming up that could really help you find your audience. And I had a wonderful friend, Trice Hickman, who had independently published her first couple books. And I thought, you know what? I don't need anybody's permission. I'm just going to do this. And that was my story. And I've been doing it ever since. Oh. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Because I've dealt with, wanting that permission to write. I mean, it was really a stunting experience. I had someone say, well, your writing isn't all that. Stick to your day job. And all sorts of just, I think they felt like it was constructive criticism, but at the time, that's not how I took it, because I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And I stopped writing for a long time. And then those stories kept writhing beneath my skin, like, you've got to tell. And then I remembered something my mother, God rest her soul, had told me years before that. She said, Stephanie, because I used to write, I'd watch a television show and create what I thought should have been the ending or a continuation. And she'd read it and she'd say, that's nice. That's nice. But Stephanie, I want to hear your story. Write your stories your way with your words. And I said, okay, come back with something else, same. And then just before she died, I said, I need you to make, just before she died, she said, Stephanie, I need you to make me a promise. And I said, anything. And come on, that's your mom, that's your first friend, that's your heart. And she said, Stephanie, I want you to promise me that you'll do the things I never got a chance to do. I want you to tell your stories, and I'm tearing up, your way, with your words.
That's right.
And I've forgotten it. And then I picked up my pen, and I haven't stopped since. So for anyone listening, if you've got that story, write it. Even if it's horrible, revision, it happens. It's going to happen. But write that story. Write it with your words, your way.
Oh,
you have to.
Come on, see.
You've got to.
You got folks on the panel crying. Oh, Lord.
That's right. It's church, Lisa. It's church. We got to say amen.
No.
But you do it.
Wow.
You've got to.
That's
You've got to.
You have to.
Cerece,
because if you don't, I'm sorry. There was a question?
No. If you don't, what? Go ahead and finish that thought.
If you don't, a piece of you is going to die off that you'll never get back. So you've got to do it. Even if you're the only person that sees that story, you've got to do it. Because if you don't, that piece of your soul is going to slough off and you're never going to get it back. So do it. Amen. Do it afraid. Distill that pain. Distill it. Distill that fear. Distill that rejection. And you send it out into the world. And I guarantee you, I promise you this, somebody out there is going to read it and say, you know what? That is my survival primer. That is what's going to make me okay. So you do it. You do it afraid. But you do it anyway. I guarantee you there's somebody out there that's going to need that. And you need it too.
Indeed.
Amen.
Cerece, I have a question for you.
Okay.
You at first went to find you when we first, that's how we found.
That's how we met. That's right. That's how we found each other. That's right.
It was a stray a little bit from your Order of the Series.
Yes.
Seers series.
Yes.
Say that 4 times, right? Order of the Seer series. What made you branch out? There was 3 in that series, and then you said, okay, to find you, which is like alternative history, a little bit of it was so, when I read it, I felt I felt like I was reading Octavia Butler. I felt like Tanana Redu. I felt like Stephen Barnes. I'm like, this is the voice, but it was still uniquely you. But it was like revisiting an old friend. The storytelling felt folklorish, African griot mixed with sci-fi. I was like, this woman is genius. So what made you take that stray from the traditional a little bit of the hard sci-fi to something that is more storytelling and more a woven thread of history?
Oh, it was all my stories. If it comes to me, I have to write it. What Stephanie was talking about with that, you never know. I don't I say I'm not sometimes I say I'm not a real writer, and people think I'm criticizing myself, but that's not what I mean. My stories are given to me. I don't come up with my stories. My characters come and they say, I got this story and I need you to get over yourself to write this story that I'm about to tell you. And that's what Stephanie's talking about, getting over yourself to write the story, because it's not about you, it's about your characters. And I remember editing the third book in Order of the Seers. And if anybody's read it, you know it's an intense book. And I was, ooh, it's intense. And I was editing it and I was like, I need a love story. I need something with no superpowers where it all works out well in the end. And as soon as I said that, the story for Order of the Seers came to me. And I had to stop editing the last book in Order of the Seers and write the outline for To Find You. And so I guess to get back to the heart of your question, I never question, I'm not worried about writing in my genre. I'm worried about writing the stories that God has given me, period. I write children's books. I wrote a fantasy that was inspired by an African folktale. I wrote Order of the Seers. I've got a space opera and another historical fiction that I don't know when it will be written, but it's a takeoff of the first story in To Find You. So I don't know what I'm going to write next. I've got a slave narrative short story that I'm writing right now, which is completely different from it. So I just follow what is given to me. And I know that's maybe not what you're supposed to do, but by conventional wisdom, but I never thought I'd be a writer. In fact, I used to tell myself that I could not write anything longer than 5 pages because I used to write poetry. I've been writing poetry since I was like 11 or 12. So the fact that I'm doing this now, this is not my wildest dream. This is beyond anything that I could have imagined for myself.
I think that as creative writers, though, that's the way it should be. I think that the whole genre thing is just a closet they want to put you in, or just a box they want to lump you in. Whereas when you're a true creative writer, there is no genre.
Right.
It's just the story. That's it, period.
I absolutely agree, JD. You know, as a reader, and I've been an avid reader since I was a little girl, I used to ask my mom to buy me a book instead of a toy when I was in the shop, when I was a kid. You know, here's how I pick a book, and I still do this today. I look at the cover, looks cute, I turn it over, I read the back. If I like what it says, I buy it. That is literally as simple as that. I never even thought about genre. Someone was like, oh, you're a sci-fi reader. And I was like, am I? I mean, I guess there's some science. It just I'm into the characters, I'm into the story. I've read a lot of literary fiction. I didn't even know that there was a difference between literary fiction and regular. I didn't know any. I was like, Dune, I'm reading Dune. Like, I don't know what that is, but it's awesome. So I just, yeah, and that's how I read and that's how I write. So.
It's Florenza, do you feel that by not defining yourself in a genre, that has freed you to allow the stories to come to you, that the stories don't feel hindered at all?
Maybe, oh, that's a great question, Florenza. Maybe, I suppose so, because, you know, our mind is a powerful thing, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we continue to play with this thing as if it's just sort of normal, but it really is, we create our realities with our minds. Yes. So the things that you block in your mind, you block in reality. You create your world.
Yes.
And so I'm sure if I was doing that, they'd be like, oh, I can't trust her with that story because she's got some funny stuff going on in her brain. But I'm open to it all because I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for it, for every story. So
thank you.
Thank you for asking that. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Thank you
You
so
also,
much. Oh, go ahead.
You also write children's books as well. Your children, not only are you writing, your children are writing.
They are. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's such a blessing. And, you know, you see how you want to influence your children in a positive way. But when they see that you're doing things, it just automatically makes, oh yeah, of course I can do that. You know, my daughter's writing a book now about a dragon princess. And it's not a question of if. which is what, which was the same for me. When people were like, oh, well, Black people don't read science fiction. I thought, well, I know all these Black people that do, so that's just silly. And then people would ask me, what made you think as a Black woman that you could write science fiction? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, we do everything, everything. Have you read Octavia Butler? Have you read, so because I knew that Black people were everywhere doing everything, it was never a question of if I could do something. It's, do I have the guts to follow the call? That's it, and that's all. So someone asked how old my kids are. My youngest, her daughter is 9, and our oldest is 12 going on 13.
That is so awesome. Tell us where we can find you online. First I want to show, this is my favorite. I've read all of Cerece Rennie Murphy's books. I have them all. The Wolf Queen, that series. Is it going to be more in the Wolf Queen? So I've got the 2 books.
It's just the 2. It's
So
just
it's a
for now.
duology.
For now.
Yes, it's a duology. But my absolute favorite, and also for Stephanie, is this particular one right here, To Find You. It is amazing. If you've never read any time travel, alternate history, any of that kind, science fiction is different. It isn't always your Star Wars, Star Trek kind of thing. This is an amazing start to finding out about Cerece Rennie Murphy as well. And I'm going to, if you can tell us where we can find you online, that'll be awesome.
Sure. I'm at www.cerecerennymurphy.com, and I'm going to put it in the chat, if that's okay.
Yes, you can do that.
Yeah.
And you can hang on for the next 9 minutes, because Stephanie is going to do a reading from Season of the Blood, that little section that
y'all are in for a treat.
She's one of the newer members of the tribe. And I want to share, this is one of her books here, Necessary Evil. It's the start of the Diamonds, Blood, and Shadows series. They are all standalones. You can read them in any order, but Season of the Blood is coming out, I believe, in December. And she's going to read this piece. This piece sent chills down a lot of people's spines when she read this. When she read it to me, she did. But when people read it on screen, it had the same effect. So she has about 8 minutes, and it's more than enough time for her to read this piece, for people to get to know who you are and a little bit about your writing. So this is from Season of the Blood. Take it away, Stephanie.
Okay. I am not one or the other. Names are petty and mine never fit no how. It's enough that I exist. Profound and profane, it's good enough for me. I am perfect in my otherness. Believe that. I am something else. Such a simple truth dogged my steps from the time I was born. Can't say my parents loved me, you understand. On the outside, I resembled every little girl, all decked out in barrettes and bows under my skirts. Well, that was another story entirely. Never thought anything was right or wrong with me until the game started with Daddy. I won't bore you with the particulars. Spare me the tears and the guilt that passes for sympathy. All you need to know is that by my 12th birthday, Daddy was in the ground and I put him there. Planning him better than any undertaker or gardener. You don't get to know how I finished him neither. All you need to know is that he died screaming. Made damn sure of that. I even joined him at one point, screaming that is. Laughed a little too. Mama married again, and you'd think she'd trade up. And the grunts and the groans and the occasional gag before she bolted to the bathroom served as a marker. What she couldn't abide, or more or less let slide, I was assigned to. Keep the peace? Hell, maybe to take her place on account of the new baby on the way. Out with the old and in with the new, I guess. Hoped it wasn't true. Prayed it wasn't true. But then I heard the creak in the floor and my doorknob turned. You know how that go. Can't stay anywhere for free. Frying pan to the fire, rolled out with the clothes on my back and a sweaty crumpled 5 in my pocket. Won't tell you how I earned that or about my first night's peace. You see, my otherness had its perks and its buyers, some meaner than others, but it was business, nothing personal. Snuffling back blood and spitting out a tooth or two makes you humble or mean. I chose the latter and had a good run until I didn't. That was where she found me. Hair like flames, green eyes like hellfire. Never said a word, just sat in an alley that reeked of piss, vomit, and my own fear. Sat there as fine as you please on a wooden crate next to the pile of garbage I'd been thrown in. Followed I don't know how many city blocks. Thought I lost her in the shadows of the street lamps. It was almost daylight before we got to where she was going. She unlocked the door on an apartment and went in, leaving the choice to me. It is one I will never regret. That's why I'm here. With green eyes, sagging breath, gray eyes. Too much of that blunt. That's why I'm here, with gray eyes, sagging breasts, and a silver beard to match. Filed my teeth down to points and forked my tongue. Can lick many things in many directions, and I often do. People think me a monster, and I am. I live, lie, and fuck all in equal measure. Male, female, or something else on the menu, hell, I don't discriminate. I run it all, buy it all, and sell it all. It's what I am, who I am, and what I do. And I'm good at it. With a shot glass in one hand and a blunt dangling from the corner of my mouth, I am what your mama couldn't conjure in her worst night terror. But to her, now mama, you dumb shit. The one that saved my life and straightened my crown bones. To her, I am blood. I'd kill or die for. And that's even after I betrayed her. And that's from Season of the Blood.
Wow, that
Wow.
Chills.
wow. She said that's even after I betrayed her, after all that. I like that the beginning is wow. It's like I am not one or the other, but I'm perfect in my otherness. And you don't really kind of get what that is until you get down to the point where up under my skirts, it was something different. You never knew it. Wow. That is some powerful, powerful, powerful writing. So we're gonna thank Cerece. You're free to, I know you got writing to do, but you're free to hang out in the backyard or just to peek in. You can use that link to come in and out all day. And I had only promised to keep you a little bit, but that reading, I had to have you here for that reading.
Oh no, I love it. Well, I'm a huge fan and so glad that you listened to your mom.
Yeah. Instead of your aunt, because that was a powerful thing when she told me that her aunt said, you need to give up this writing thing, and for her to have listened. And then I thought it was interesting because she told me later that the aunt married somebody who wrote, and then the aunt calls her up and said, I need you to help my husband. Right, of all the nerve, but you need to stop that writing thing. But I married somebody who wants to get into this writing thing. So now you're going to become useful. So that was so subjective because she asked me on more than one occasion after that for her help with her husband. But yet you told her to put the pen down. That, I'm telling you, sometimes family can be your worst enemy. When it comes to family and friends, you do not share your vision with somebody who cannot hold it for you.
There you go.
And on that note, we're going to close it on now. Stephanie, tell everybody where they can find you.
Oh, StephanieMFreeman.com. StephanieMFreemanAuthor.com. Facebook, Instagram. Oh gosh.
BookBub, Twitter.
BookBub. Oh gosh, there's so many different places, but come see about me. Come sit a spell. Let me tell you another story.
Yeah.
Read my books.
I heard that in the Supreme's voice. Come see about me. I know, right? Thank you so much. Cerece, thank you for joining us this morning.
No, thank you for having me.
Indeed. All right, take care.
Bye, thank you. And
I'm going to